Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Adventures with Andi. Now, one thing that I saw on the shelf when I was picking up some Wilton icing gel food coloring for dyeing yarn with one time is this. And it confuses me because this color, which looks black in the jar, this is ivory. And I didn't need it at the time, but I was really curious about what color this comes out to be when you dye yarn, but I went ahead and picked it up. I've had it for a little while now, I just haven't used it, and I thought today, let's do that, because I keep seeing it on the shelf and I'm really curious, what color will this be? So we've got this, we've got some mason jars, and we've got some of the 10-gram mini skeins that I've wound from Picks Swish Fingering, which is 100% superwash merino wool, and these are the minis that I use when I do the triangle exercise dye, or triangle
dyeing exercise.
Why can't I say that? These are the minis that I use when I'm doing the triangle dyeing exercises. So the way we're going to do it today, though, is obviously we're not doing a triangle. We're gonna try doing serial dilutions, which is something I've not done before. So hey. Two not done's. Not used this dye, not done serial dilutions.
What can go wrong?
It gains sentience and takes over the world. We've discussed this. That is always the worst that can happen. Although I guess technically you didn't say what's the worst that could happen. You said what could go wrong.
Yeah.
Which is still gains sentience and takes over the world. I'm going to mix up some of the Ivory icing gel in a jar. It's not going to be a 1% stock solution because there's no way for us to know how many grams of dye are in this container. They've got other ingredients in the icing gel, and there's just no way for us to know, how much of it is dye. So it's just going to be a dye solution, not necessarily a 1%. But it's going to be our starting dye solution. I'm going to mix that up in a mason jar. Then I'm going to pour half of that into another mason jar, right? And then I will top this off with more water. Then I will pour half of this one into another mason jar and top this one off, and so on. I think that's the way it's done.
It is now.
It is now. I can't remember.
I mean, that's how you're doing it.
That's how I'm doing it. And then I will put one of each of these mini skeins in a jar, and we'll see, what color do we end up with at, these different saturation levels. What?
Ivory, 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 ivory.
Okay, if we were doing this with, say, teal or the royal blue,
yeah,
right? What colors will we end up with at different solutions?
Blue, 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 blue.
Blue, lighter blue, lighter blue, light blue, lightest blue. Just a hint of blue.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, y'all come on in here. I will mix up this dye. I will double check how to do serial dilutions, and we will get to dyeing this yarn. All right, so the way we're going to do this is I'm going to start by mixing up a quantity of this icing gel in this mason jar. These seals. Oh my God, these seals. I hate these seals. Oh my God, I hate these seals. I still don't have this thing open. Oh my God. Is there anything over there I can use to open this with? Blowtorch, hacksaw.
There you go, get your finger in there.
Can I get my finger in there? These seals, I hate these seals, I hate these seals. All right, get the seal off. And I'm gonna put it right there. It gives us sort of, okay, this is sort of a brown color. All right, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, I'm going to start with putting a half teaspoon.
Ish.
This is all approximations. Okay. Half teaspoon in here, which should be enough. And I've got some hot water over here. Just boiled it in our electric kettle. I'm using more water than this, don't worry. It's a fairly light color. Take a look at this. Let's see. Yeah, I think I want to put some more on here. Some more in here.
Deepen the color?
Yeah, I mean, because we're going to dilute this pretty good. So another half teaspoon. It's about half the jar. All the way up to the line is going to be 400 milliliters.
Up to the bottom of the seal there?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I just want to make sure that, because not all of these jars are the same style. Also, ignore the numbers on the top-ish. We do not have them numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The ones that we happen to grab are 2, 4, 5, 9, and 13. We're going to do these in that order, but it's obviously not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that's that one. We're going to pour half of it into here. I'm going to do it very carefully. It's very hot. It's very hot. Can we run it outside real quick and let it cool off? It's very hot. I need to let it cool off a minute. It's too hot.
Technical difficulties?
Yes, technical difficulties. I pour half of this off into here. Okay. Obviously I made a mess. These are not easy. You know, I'm just saying. And yes, I'm on the board instead of on the plastic, so the board's getting a little bit more color. Okay, now we are at
about 200.
200 on this one. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fill this one up all the way. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and fill this one up all the way. Okay. Now these two are the same now, but they won't stay that way. Because we're going to take half of this one and pour it into this one to get it to 200, right? And now we top both of these off. This one, 400 is also up to the...
Yeah, they're all up to the bottom of where of the lid there is 400.
Okay. I'm probably going to need a little bit more water.
Can we go fill it up?
Sure. All right. So you can go ahead and put the lid on this one. And on this one, for now. So I hopefully don't knock them over.
Or if you do, they'll have the lid on.
Hopefully. And I'll do the same thing with this. That's not quite half. Contrary to what this one believes, this one says it's not. We're going to fill this one back up. And we move it over here out of the way, right?
Yeah, lid it up.
Put the lid on, okay? And we pour. Fill this one up. All right, and then we pour this one, half of it. Stop moving. I don't know. Are we in a slant or something? Okay. And we fill this one up all the way. Right? But then doesn't that make this one and this one the same?
It would seem as though.
It would seem as though.
Now you just pour half of that out and pour in the water.
Fill this one up all the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Half in there. We'll put the yarn mop in this one.
Any of these off here now?
Yes. All right, so now that we've got our dilutions poured out, it starts at a really dark brown and goes all the way down to just this almost yellow color, sort of an amber color. These are still dry. I'm not going to worry about putting silicone ties on them. It'll be fine. Says, no, I'm not going in there, Andi. I'm not. You can't make me.
Yeah. Shoving stick.
Think I can't make you? Yeah. All right, there you go. Now these are superwash, but we don't have any citric acid in here yet, and we're not going to worry about putting any in just yet, because we want to try to give it a chance to strike as evenly as possible.
Swish around.
Yep. Did you steal this?
Yeah, I put it on the yarn mop for you.
Why?
Because there was dye on the end of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, fine. You want to put the next one in there?
What's that?
Put the next one in there. Just here you go. Next one. Oh, sure. That one goes in nice and easy. Of course, it's not completely unwound either.
It isn't.
But that's okay.
We can
It's
pull it out
fine.
and do it again.
Yeah, you go for that. That's okay. It'll
Ready?
be fine. Yep.
Like we're out of yarn.
No, we're not. We got two more. All right. Put the lids on these, and we're going to let them sit overnight. And then we'll come back tomorrow and we'll put some citric acid in them to help that dye strike. Now, because this is superwash, it should go ahead and strike some anyway. But, you know, we want that acid in there to make sure it sets. And for this one, our yarn mop. I'm just going to put it in just like that.
Well, then you can always unfurl it later and use it for something else too.
I could. I'm going to put that in there.
Is that the silver tab?
Yes, that's the seal. This will give us some resist. All right. We will be back tomorrow. See you then. Our yarn's been sitting out here in the garage for a few days now, and the dye's not exhausted yet. It's not too big of a surprise because we haven't used either acid or heat on any of these. But we're going to rectify one of those right now by adding a 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid to each of these jars. Okay, a little bit less than a 1/4 teaspoon on that last one, just because it didn't have as much water in it.
You can confirm there's no heat been added there?
I can confirm this water is very cold. Very, very cold. We do have quite a lot of the color in the yarn already. Lid's back on. And we'll go ahead and let these sit out here at least overnight, because it is cold, it is raining right now, and I don't want to try to heat up the crock pot with water out here. It would take a really long time in this cold. But we'll let them sit out here, and then we'll come back, add our last necessary component, the heat, and set these. So our yarn's been sitting out here for a couple more days since we put the citric acid in, and as you can see, the dye bath's essentially exhausted. It's a little hard to tell in these jars, but yeah, it's pretty much exhausted. We still need to add some heat though to fully set this. So we got our crock pot here.
Steamy.
It's very steamy. We heated up some water in our electric kettle, and we can fit 3 of these in here at a time. Put the lid on, let them sit for 15-20 minutes or so, and then we will swap these out with these, let them cool down. I will wash them and come back, show you how it looks. And here's our finished yarn. This is not at all the color I was expecting when I picked up that container of ivory.
It's closer to brown in a lot of places.
It is. It's a very orange brown. And like, you know, these 3 here give sort of an orange sherbet feel.
I don't see it quite that bright orange, but yeah.
I mean, like, you know, orange sherbet. You're like, yes, I am aware of what orange sherbet is. It's what it seems like to me. We get quite a bit of splotchiness in this one. I'm not sure why. We just do. And this one, really confusingly, we just noticed this and we have no idea what happened, but we've got some blue on here.
Just a very little bit though.
Just a very little bit. Now, when I hung these up to dry, I had other yarn on the rack that was already mostly dry, And so I had to hang this on a lower level. So the only thing we can think is maybe one of those dripped, but none of those had any bleeding whatsoever. And, you know, they were dry to the point of not dripped anymore. So I don't know how that happened, what that's from, where it picked it up from. I wouldn't think it would be from a tie, because there's not a tie right there, but it's just this spot right here. So very unusual. I don't know, maybe it came off the silicone tie and that just happened to be where it was when we were first working with it. I don't know. It's odd. I'm not going to worry about it. It's a small amount, and this isn't dyed for our project anyway. This is just dyed to see what color the yarn is.
And I think that's the one that's closest to what I would imagine Ivory being.
Yeah. These are in order of the amount of dye that we put in. And I find it a little odd that there's more splotchiness on this one, and yet these two are about the same color.
I don't know.
I don't know. That really has more to do with the dyeing than anything else. And there was no bleeding on any of this, so that was fine. All in all, I really like this color. It's not a color that I've gotten before using the Wilton colorites or icing gels. I've not been able to do this color, and I really like it. So I'm glad that I picked up that Ivory container of the Wilton's icing gel just to have in my yarn dyeing stash.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice tan, if nothing else.
It is. And I like this brown right here. I mean, this is a nice tan here, and I really like this brown. Now we've mixed ones similar to this with the commercial acid dyes. I don't think we've mixed anything similar to this with the Wilton's dyes or any food coloring dyes. But it is a nice brown. I always enjoy trying different things and seeing how it comes out, whether it's dyeing yarn or doing some sort of art project or, you know, DIY project. And you know, this was something that I had not planned at all. It was just one of those walking through Michael's and saw this and went, huh, I wonder. And sometimes that's just what you gotta do. And you never know what's gonna come from it. So I'm glad I did it, and I'm definitely gonna be using this for a dyeing project at some point in the future because I like that color.
Wasn't sure what to expect, and I'm not sure that these darker colors were what I was even close to expecting, but they are nice colors, I think. They're not too bright and garish or anything like that.
Yeah. No swatch on this, obviously, because they're minis. And if I were to knit a swatch, there would be pretty much no yarn left from them. I know why this one has splotches and why it seems about the same color as this one.
Why is that?
It's because we did serial dilutions on this, right?
We did.
And we divided the dye amount each time, and we had the extra amount left over. So that's the same amount as this one. So we took a skein of the same yarn and just left it wound up in the twisted hank and put it in there. And so that's why we've got the spots all through it.
There you go.
Check out my memory coming back to save the day! Oh my gosh. It has been a while since we dyed this yarn. And I couldn't remember. But yeah, yes, my memory, full of, like a sieve, full of bubbles, retains very little, but sometimes it does retain something. Oh, mystery solved. I feel better. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed watching us do serial dilutions for the first time, and also dye some yarn with this Wilton Icing gel in the Ivory colorway to see what color is it actually, because Ivory's not black. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now and turn on notifications so that you never miss anything that we try here. You have an absolutely incredible day, and we will see you on our next adventure. Bye, everybody. Say bye, Chad.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.